You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bank. It's a pleasure to be in your presence, the faceless presence once again. And for this video, we've obviously finished the first 4 weeks of the season, and we've compiled a record of 2-2. Now, best case scenario at the beginning of the season, I thought we would be 4-0, but or at worst 3-1. But fortunately, we're 2-2. We battled obviously lots of injuries, but I wanted to recognize a few players that, in my opinion, have stood out and have allowed us to have that 2-2 record, because it could be worse. So let's get into the video, and I'm going to recognize a few players that have stood out in my mind. Let's go. Faithful. Let's start off with the best offensive player I feel the Niners have had through the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, I feel like this will be a two-person award, and the first player will be Jed McKinnon, second player Jordan Reed. Now, Jed McKinnon was signed over 3 years ago in a big free agent off-signing deal. And let's face it, he's battled injuries throughout his career with the Niners. And this is the first year since he was signed that he's actually playing in the regular season. And he's performed admirably well. I'm actually surprised. He's been the feature back ever since Mostert got hurt against the Jets. And he's performed well. Even in split time with Mostert, he's performed well. You know, he's caught the ball out of the backfield well. He's run the ball pretty effectively. And in my previous video, at the beginning of the season, I thought he would have a breakout season. Like, I felt like he would have at least 500 receiving yards, 500 running yards if he could stay healthy. And looks like he's definitely on track to that. So that's why I'm giving him the co-MVP award through the first 4 weeks of the season. Next player, Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed, he's had a pretty good career in Washington. He battled injuries, but since he's come with the Niners in an offseason move, he's played pretty well, especially when Kittle went out. Shanahan decided to use him a lot more in the offense, and it's paid off. You know, he had a 2-touchdown game against the Giants, and he's performed pretty well in all our games, and that's why he's getting the second offensive MVP award. And honestly, where would we be without Jordan Reed? I mean, you could argue we may not win one game if we didn't have Jordan Reed with us on the staff. So that's who I'm giving the co-MVP offensive award for the first 4 weeks, Jed McKinnon and Jordan Reed. Let's get into the next one. Faithful. There's no doubt the best defensive player on the 49ers through the first 4 weeks of the season has been Fred Warner. I mean, Fred Warner has been all over the place, making tackles all over the field. He can cover tight ends. And every time the ball carrier has the ball, whether it's running back, tight end, receiver, you can guarantee that Fred Warner is going to be around the ball carrier, making a play on the ball or making a tackle. I think Fred Warner is clearly establishing himself as one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL. I believe he's easily top 5. And I can't wait to see Fred Warner through the rest of the season and him continue to make plays for the red and gold. Let's get into the next award. All right, faithful. My next award will be the surprise player through the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, I can only narrow this down to 2 players. So the first player is going to be Jason Verrett. Second player is going to be Kerry Hyder. Jason Verrett, he's got a lot of talent, battled injuries throughout his career. There seems to be a recurring theme with players on the Niners. The free agents that we picked up, they've been battling injuries throughout their career. But Lynch and Shanahan like to take chances. And it seems like at least through the first 2 games of the season, or I should say the last 2 games we played that Verrett's been in, he's played pretty well. He's been making open field tackles. And quarterbacks haven't really thrown his way. That's what I've noticed. They've decided to go to other sides of the field that Verrett's not on. So it would be interesting to see if Verrett stays healthy throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, the talent level of our opponents continues to increase, and we're going to play better teams. So I'm excited to see Jason Verrett play up against better wide receivers. But so far, through the first 4 weeks, I'm impressed with Verrett, and I'm surprised because, he's been battling injuries throughout his career. And the other player is going to be Kerry Hyder Jr. Honestly, faithful, before the season, I hadn't even heard of Kerry Hyder. But my sources say that he's played well with Detroit, but for some reason they decided not to keep him. But fortunately they didn't, because Kerry Hyder has been great. I believe he has 2 or 3 sacks for the season. He's been getting pressure on the quarterback from his end. And we've definitely needed his production because, Bosa's out for the year. So those are my 2 surprise players, Jason Verrett, Kerry Hyder. Let's get into the next one. Faithful, the most exciting player that I've seen through the first 4 weeks of the season is, you guessed it, Brandon Ayuk. That play he had against the Philadelphia Eagles, it was incredible. I definitely was not expecting him to hurdle over the cornerback like that, but that was an incredible play. And this appears to be another good draft pick by Shanahan and Lynch to pick up Brandon Ayuk. I'm excited to see what he can do through the rest of the offense, and also when he gets completely healed from that hamstring injury. I mean, I can't wait. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I'm excited to see Brandon Ayuk implemented more in the offense. I'm excited to see Debo continue to get healthy, Kittle, Mostert to come back. I mean, we've got weapons on this offense, and with Shanahan's scheme and everything, I think we'll be in good shape. So that's what I'm excited for. Faithful, what'd you think of my list? Let me know in them good old comments. Let me know who you think the best offensive player for the first 4 weeks of the season was, the best defensive player, the most surprising player that you saw, and also most exciting player. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of my list, and also input your comments as well. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, this has been another Jay and the Bay production, and I'll see you guys in the next one.